Baboons in the wild have been known to kidnap puppies and raise them as pets. There's a fruit called black sapote or chocolate pudding fruit, which at the right ripeness tastes like chocolate pudding, is low in fat and has about 4 times as much vitamin C as an orange. Sand from the Sahara is blown by the wind all the way to the Amazon, recharging its minerals. The desert literally fertilizes the rainforest. There is a city being created in the Arab Emirates right now that will be entirely reliant on renewable energy sources with a zero-waste ecology. It takes a sloth 2 weeks to digest their food. It takes 12 bees a lifetime of work to create a teaspoon of honey. Only 1 to 2% of the total world population are redheads. The average commuter wastes around 42 hours waiting in traffic each year. A hacker group named Ignazi once took down Papa John's website because the company was 2 hours later than expected in delivering their food. In 2013, Vietnam unveiled a steel bridge that's shaped like a dragon that literally shoots fire out of its mouth. That's called the Dragon Bridge. The rules of most airlines require that the pilot and co-pilot of a plane eat different meals. This is just in case one of the meals causes food poisoning. Digital storage doesn't go up in measurements of thousands. 1024 bits make a byte. 1024 bytes makes up kilobyte, followed by megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, and petabyte. There are only 2 parts on the human body that never stop growing: the ears and the nose. There is a tribe in India called the Warkasi that has been passing down for generations the art of manipulating tree roots to create a system of living bridges. The average strawberry has 200 seeds on the outside. It's also not considered a fruit. There is no explanation why there are no mosquitoes in Iceland. Sir, I demand, I am a maid named Iris is the longest palindrome that is. It makes the same sentence if you say it backwards. Jose Mujica is the president of Uruguay and the poorest president in the world, as he gives away most of his income to charity. Lotso the bear from Toy Story 3 was originally supposed to be in the first movie, but the technology needed to create his fur wasn't available at the time, so he got pushed back to the third film. A group of donkeys is called a drove. In one night, a mole can dig a tunnel 300 feet 1 km long in soil. The Vystavokhnaya subway station in Moscow accepts 30 squats as payment for a metro ticket as an incentive to exercise more. There is a method of art called tree shaping, where living trees are manipulated to create forms of art. Mobile phones emit electromagnetic frequencies that heat body tissue and can affect over 100 proteins in the brain. Colonel Sanders disliked what the KFC franchise had done to the food so much that he described it as the worst fried chicken he had ever had, and the gravy was like wallpaper paste. When James Bond actor Daniel Craig first ran off with his current wife Rachel Weisz in 2010, he actually had a fiancée at the time, and when she found out, she spent $1 million on his credit line in revenge. A guy named Seth Putnam wrote a song about how being in a coma was stupid, and soon after went into a coma himself. After he awoke, when asked how it felt to be in a coma, he said, "Being in a coma was just as stupid as I wrote it was." It has never rained in Calama, a town in the Atacama Desert of Chile. The FBI now tracks animal abuse like it tracks homicides and assaults. Their logic is that they classify animal cruelty as a group, a felony, because if you abuse animals, there's a good chance that you'd do the same to a person. Each king in a deck of playing cards represents a great king from history. Spades King David, clubs Alexander the Great, hearts Charlemagne, and diamonds Julius Caesar. The word retarded came into popular use during the 1960s because it was considered far less offensive and more politically correct than labeling someone a moron, idiot, or imbecile. Cosmonaut Sergei Krikalev was in space when the Soviet Union was dissolved. He went up a Soviet citizen and returned a Russian citizen. Thomas Jefferson proposed in 1784 to end slavery in all the territories, but his bill lost in Congress by 1 vote. If you are a Singaporean citizen above 21, your organs will be automatically donated upon death. The Ferris wheel moving walkway, Pabst Blue Ribbon, press penny souvenirs, juicy fruit gum, and Aunt Jemima pancake mix were all unveiled at the 1893 Chicago World Fair. The funny bone ulnar nerve is the largest unprotected nerve in the body. In 1985, the French president authorized a state-sponsored terror attack on New Zealand soil, killing a Dutch citizen. Singapore has such a low birth rate that there is a government program set up to help people get laid. Nintendo sent shipments of the SNES at night to avoid theft by the Yazuka. The sister city of Boring, Oregon is Dull, Scotland. After the closure of North American airspace on Sept. 11, 2001, a small Canadian town had its population nearly doubled when 7,000 passengers were forced to land. The small community provided food, clothing, and prescriptions free of charge to all of the stranded passengers. Usain Bolt ate nothing but chicken nuggets while he was in Beijing because that was the only thing he knew and won 3 gold medals. It is rarely necessary to wait 24 hours before filing a missing persons report. Law enforcement agencies in the US stress the importance of a prompt investigation. The UK government website says explicitly in large type you don't have to wait 24 hours before contacting the police. In California and 3 other US states, ladies' night are against the law because they are gender discrimination. In Newfoundland, there is a berry called a bakeapple. The word comes from French baïquapele meaning what's this berry called? In 2009, Dolph Lundgren's house was broken into, and his wife was tied up. The burglars then saw a photo of Lundgren and fled, realizing whose house they just were in. Bees don't always die when they sting. They die when they sting a human or other animals with similarly thick skin, but can sting other insects just fine. Heath Ledger kept a Joker diary. In it, he wrote as the Joker and included a list of things he believed the Joker would find funny, including blind babies, geniuses with brain damage, and sombreros. There was an all-black regiment in Wee that the Germans feared so much that they called them the Harlem Hellfighters. They never lost an inch of ground and none of them was ever captured. Dialysis machines are actually really pretty simple. The first one ever was kludged together out of beer cans, a washing machine, and sausage casings. The human olfactory system is anatomically complete before birth. A shark's hearing is similar to that of a whale or dolphin. Americans spend $11 billion each year for glasses and contact lenses. Approximately 3.3% of snowboarding injuries involve the spinal cord. 1.4% of skiing injuries involve the spinal cord. Several types of beetles are attracted to forest fires. These beetles detect the heat of forest fires with receptors for infrared radiation.